Thank you for visiting the Coin Lady channel again. Dear everyone, this terrifying tale is the first one we will cover. It's the next step after Operation Choke. Second point. Disrupting the cryptocurrency market is a government-wide mandate. You need to be informed of what's happening, and we will investigate. Alternate timeline: SEC Ethereum assault on Gary, deceit on Congress's part. Finally, we'll get into the heated rivalry between Ripple and Tethers, as well as the mysterious Avalanche partnership with Stripe and a major deal to mainstream Web3. Before I do that, though, I want to remind you that subscribing significantly helps the channel and, by extension, the bell. Okay, so we can see that the government began meddling with crypto banking partners in the first phase of Operation Choke. To point out, perhaps illegally, in an effort to hurt the business. However, there has been a significant increase here as of late. Be wary of using money transmission services or cryptocurrencies that have not been registered with the FBI. At first, it was assumed that this meant mixers. All things considered, nevertheless, the government is pursuing self-custody. This includes not just covert tactics to conceal one's identity, but also self-custody in general, since everything might be a means of transmitting funds. Also, if you keep watching this channel, one day I'll be talking about the stock market and exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and I wouldn't be surprised if the FBI started knocking on the door of cryptocurrency enthusiasts. So, what transpired? In no world am I going to participate in that endeavor. We witnessed Uniswap, the SEC, attempting to assert that decentralized exchange is an unregistered broker, a massive assault on self-custody, an assault on the Ethereum case, in which MetaMask and your capacity to self-custody coins and a web wallet are central, and so on. The IRS, who held this 1099 form, was the last entity to be considered. Paying your taxes is something you really must do, and I want you to know that I am not opposed to it. Your income must be claimed. However, they assert that self-custody is under assault once more, this time by some sort of broker, and that a 1099 is necessary for your wallet, which is obviously impossible. A failing enterprise if that becomes a regulation at the same time as it creates a form of self-custody. Your Ledger, Trezors, and MetaMask are going bankrupt because you can't meet that need. In what way is it feasible for you to have exclusive custody? At least 1099, it just wouldn't function for such users. Because of this, it is clear that cryptocurrencies are the target of a concerted effort. The Ethereum regulatory saga continues with the following article. Court documents reveal Gensler's stance as chair of the SEC. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, led by Chairman Gary Gensler, believes that Ethereum does not meet the Howey test for an unregistered securities, according to newly released court documents. Still more astonishing is the notion that MetaMask is not a registered broker. I believe that will be the case after the final lawsuit is kicked out here. Additionally, that cryptocurrency. Remember that the SEC considers all cryptocurrency tokens to be securities? It's not a huge issue, but pursuing self-custody is something to be concerned about. According to a recent story by Eleanor Turat on Fox News, it is what you need to keep an eye out for in a course. According to the court filing, SEC Chair Gary Gensler and the agency appeared to have believed for at least a year or so that Ethereum was operating an unregistered security, thus violating federal regulations. As a result, the Ethereum software company is going after the SEC preemptively by filing an unredacted complaint. The Ethereum security status was formally investigated on March 28, 2023, by the SEC Division of Enforcement, which was headed by Gerber Girl. The name of this probe was Ethereum 2.0. Involved the law enforcement team in investigating the buyers and sellers of that Ethereum token. Subpoenas were used to accomplish these ends, directing the subjects to remain silent and secretive. Up until now, this has been kept under wraps. Since they asked him directly, "Is this a theory of a security?" many are now wondering whether Gary Gensler lied to Congress. As for him, he was unsure. I just can't say anything about his entire game there. If he hadn't spoken properly, we'd be looking into it. We have faith in their safety. It is somewhat clarified by Mark Fago, the former regional director of the SEC. He explains that the SEC's legal order only signifies its authorization to conduct investigations. So it's not like they've settled on anything just yet. Since they haven't made that decision, it would be completely appropriate for Gary to state, "We don't know, we haven't decided all this jazz," even though they are researching. However, he continues to provide a response here at the same moment that question was posed to him. Secondly, the chair should not have publicly publicized the subject because there is an ongoing inquiry. Therefore, it's one of those things that's perpetually shrouded in mystery. They're looking into it thoroughly, but for the time being, they simply cannot say. And let me tell you, Mark is incredibly well informed and speaks his mind. That is indeed what will happen to Gary Gensler, as he predicts. Simply said, you can't be considered an ally with this man. You can never trust him to give you an honest response because, they're always being investigated. That is why it is very necessary for Congress to take action and pass explicit legislation. Hold for a second. This is major news. Institutional investors considering cryptocurrency as a debasement hedge have discussed this, according to KPMG. Since it is worldwide in scope and not limited to any one area, this acts as a buffer against currency risk, which has been a major motivator, as well as geopolitical risk. The combination of growing U.S. debt and inflation in 2023 probably sparked the cryptocurrency boom that year. It would seem that investors are on the lookout for new asset classes that might protect their wealth against inflation and inflationary pressures. So here we are, still babbling about the same old thing. This is the perspective that institutions take into consideration when considering cryptocurrency investments. They are aware that the value of their dollar, or Canadian dollar, is declining year over year and are working to reverse this trend. Additionally, they are aware that there is a limit to how much money they can invest in real estate stocks before they become confused about what to buy next. Institutional investors and financial services in Canada and around the world see cryptocurrency as a promising investment prospect. After all, every despot just produces money. The currency is debased. Consequently, this is our strategy to counteract reckless fiscal policies, without a doubt. Avalanche has made a major statement about the integration of Stripe for fiat to crypto onboarding. Continuously developing. Apex can now be purchased directly from Web3 apps by C-chain users through a Stripe-supplied widget. This is a major issue, then. If we want the crypto industry's normal people to invest in this asset class, we need to appeal to their familiarity with existing payment processors and the apps they use. And then you can just purchase it. This is an effort to address the cold start issue with Web 3.0, when users are unable to complete transactions due to a lack of cash in their wallet. As a solution, Stripe will take care of all the Know Your Customer, KYC, payment fraud and compliance, freeing up app developers to focus on making a huge deal. Users in the core portfolio can now sign up for an Avalanche account with their existing Google or Apple ID and pay for it with a variety of payment methods, including bank transfers, debit cards, and credit. Therefore, we are working to make this as smooth as any other web experience. One other way we're committed to giving our users simple and easy-to-understand solutions is by integrating our courses with Stripe. Core continues to facilitate easy onboarding and wider customer acceptance by progressively connecting crypto with fiat currency. We need to know how to convince them to use these services. At times, using crypto might be a real challenge for everyone. We have gone a long way, baby, and all they're doing is attempting to make this integration as smooth as possible, just like any other online app. That will persist. Here is a tiny chart showing how we are doing in terms of crypto acceptance compared to the internet. It is the time it took to reach 1 billion users. When it comes to internet users, they are at the very end of the line. We are well ahead of the curve when it comes to cryptocurrencies, which is where we are on the earlier line, that tiny circle there. 1 billion users by 2025's end? That's what some people are saying. Not far away at all. Once again, lightning speed, even if it goes over 2025. This is the most rapidly expanding technology that the world has ever witnessed. Without a doubt, we will surpass the 2 billion users of the internet. With the debut of the stable coin pegged to the US dollar. I didn't realize this at first, but it's an old story. Of course, our pal Ryan Browning is responsible for this dross. He's the one who always spreads false information and disinformation, and now we have this fantastic tale about Ripple investing in stable coins. This is really practical, you know. This quote from Tether is also at your disposal. We hope the Ripple's team's next stable coin is even more successful than their previous efforts. Of course, criticizing Ripple is inevitable. Here's what I have to say. They are actively working to prevent Ripple from becoming successful because they believe that a stable coin based on the XRP ledger transfers and offering 3 seconds for a fraction of a cent will be a game changer for cryptocurrencies and apps. The fact that it is a reliable blockchain makes no difference whether you like XRP or not. It works quickly and efficiently. You know, it's been going on for more than 10 years. The introduction of practical stable coins to this top-tier chain will revolutionize the industry. You can see a lot of transactions on Ethereum, which is where all the liquidity is on Tether right now. Circle is, of course, also a strong candidate in that regard. I don't think it's hilarious that they're acting this way. They should be trying to mint their own stable coin on the XRP ledger as well, because a very usable coin on that network could compete and create huge order. Last but not least, I find it surprising that they haven't done it yet. China Asset Management is predicting that the Hong Kong spot Bitcoin ETF will outperform its US debut, which is massive. I mean, the Bitcoin ETF launch in the US market has been absolutely phenomenal, surpassing everyone's expectations. It's still seeing a ton of inflows and trade activity, and it would be absolutely insane to see the Hong Kong spot Bitcoin ETF outperform that. It will be a major event anyway, but just because the US capital market is larger doesn't guarantee more money will pour into a US spot Bitcoin ETF than it would into other markets. Crypto is still becoming widely used. Well, that concludes our video. Your support in the form of a like and a subscription would mean the world to me. Coming up shortly, farewell.